May I come in, sir?
Please come.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Please be seated.
Thanks.
So, Ajit, is it your name, right?
Yes.
Tell us something about yourself.
Sir, my name is Ajit Kumar. I come from Munger, Bihar, and I have done my graduation in Industrial Engineering from IIT Kharagpur. After that, I started preparing for civil services. Currently, I am selected as a Deputy SP in Bihar Police Service, and my hobby is playing badminton.
Are you serving there as Dy.SP?
Sir, I took extension leave, and I will be joining training in May last.
Okay. So, you are an industrial engineer, right?
Yes.
So, what is the role of an industrial engineer in any industry?
Sir,
Take an example of any industry and then explain.
Sir, for example, for any industry, quality control is one of the main job of industrial engineering. And then, sir, process optimization. Suppose I worked in I done an internship in the steel industry. There, the job of the industrial engineer was to look over the process and optimization part. Means how we can optimize, how can we bring more efficiency, scrap reduction. So these overall optimization techniques are being done by industrial engineering. And another major part of industrial engineering is supply chain management. How we will take material from one place to another. Finished good would be means how many inventories would be there. So these all techniques and optimization is done by industry.
So irrespective of any specialization, engineers from IIT, it is found that they join software industry. So do you think that industrial engineer has got any role as an industrial engineer in software industry, or there is no role of industrial engineer there?
Sir, there also there is a product development and means what type of product should be made, what product is demand in the market. So these things can also come under industrial engineering. Another field is a data analyst. Which is also the role of industrial engineering, because data analysis deals with the optimization techniques, and there comes the role of industrial engineering. Simulation is another thing that has been taught in the course curriculum of industrial engineering. So there also there are roles of industrial engineering, but mostly it is in manufacturing sector.
So what is your, because you mentioned of data analysis.
Yes.
What is your opinion about the data landscape of the country, of our country? How is it being seen as? What are the problems?
Sir, it is said that data is a new oil of 21st century. I see, sir, data in India there is a lot of generation of data, and the government is also coming up with new policy for evidence-based policy making. But sir, a lot needs to be done in the data of and knowledge economics. That is, we need more processing of data, a more synchronized collection of data, and after the data analysis, sir, we can do better policy making. So it is still in the nascent phase, and more can be done in this step.
Okay.
Ajit.
Yes.
What is Phillips curve?
Sir, Phillips curve is the relationship between inflation rate and unemployment rate.
How is it related inversely, directly, proportional?
So when inflation increases, unemployment reduces. So it is inversely related. It is a downward sloping curve.
Unemployment reduces.
Yes, when inflation increases, unemployment rate reduces. Yes.
Laffer curve?
So Laffer curve is the relationship between tax revenue and tax rate. It is a inverted U-shaped curve. When tax rate increases up to a certain extent, tax revenue also increases. But after the certain level of increment in tax rate, it again started going downward.
Okay. Can you give me some reasons that why presently the inflation is quite high in the country?
Sir, there are a lot of reasons from the supply side.
Give me 3 concrete reasons.
Yes. So from the supply side, I see there is a global supply chain disruption due to Ukraine-Russia war, and that has increased the global commodity price, and that is also hampering inflation in India. Secondly, sir, the food inflation part is also has increased due to this disruption in the global supply chain. And sir, from the demand side, because of the 2 years of expansionary policy, there is a lot of liquidity in the market, both in the global as well as Indian markets. And that has also increased the demand without real output increase, and that has led to the
Majorly, what you can say is that the reasons are global and due to Ukraine-Russian war only.
Yes, sir. But before Ukraine-Russia war also, there was the problem of inflation. And it was mostly from the side of demand because of increase in the liquidity. And also the supply chain disruption happened due to COVID that has also affected the economy.
Post-COVID, post-lockdown, there happens to be a term called as revenge traveling and revenge shopping. Are you aware of these terms?
Yes, sir. Sir, it is like pent-up demand unfolding. Means because people hasn't done shopping for a long time in the open market, and after the lockdown ended and market opened, people are doing extra shopping what is required in the normal time.
As I can see from your DAF that you have not worked for 6-7 years in last 6-7 years. Give me a brief that how this whole journey was of this 6-7 years, as your father is also earning 1.5 lakhs annually.
Yes.
So it must have been a difficult phase. How were you sustaining yourself?
Sir, it is not like that I haven't worked at all. I worked as a freelancer in different coaching institutes. But yes, sir, the last 5 to 6 years was a little bit difficult. But my brother is also staying in Delhi. So we lived together, and he's the PhD scholar. So I maintained
So he's also getting something 27,000-28,000 rupees.
Yes, sir. He's earning around 43.
43, okay. New. But don't you think? But what I can visualize is you are a IIT grad.
Yes.
You should have been an industrial manager. You should have been a vital and a pivotal instrument in bringing more infrastructure and industrial development to this country. And what I can see is you are wasting your golden years, and that too not almost more than half a decade.
Yes, sir. I mean, when I came here, I thought of 2 years, 3 years plans. But sir, every year I progressed, and every year I thought that this time I will crack. And I got the success also in a few of the state examination.
Bihar, when was the result announced?
Sir, last year, in June 2021.
June. Okay. You happens to have a very good academic also. 7.3 CGPA you have.
Yes.
In your engineering. Which is your favorite subject?
Of engineering?
Engineering, of course.
Sir, supply chain management.
Supply chain management.
Yes.
Which is the favorite topic?
Sir, under that we have a logistic. There is a whole section on logistics on that.
Recently, index where India has improved a lot is again comes from that same field, logistics and the supply chain.
Yes.
What were the factors wherein India could improvise his ranking from 3 digits to hardly, I think 30 or 36 is the ranking now.
Yes.
In that index.
Yes.
So what were the major reasons?
Sir, India focused more on the multimodal transport, and we have multimodal port also coming up. And sir, India also focused on the development of coastal transport through Sagarmala and their integration with we have a Bharatmala. So infrastructure and linking those different mode of transport, that is the main focus of India. And also India has come up with the 111 national waterways programs. That is itself pushing the inland waterways.
What is your opinion on the inland waterways? Shall we interlink all the rivers as the national program was? That we should integrate all the South Indian and as well as the North Indian rivers and have a integrated inland waterways?
Sir, for that, I think environmental impact assessment must be done. It is not that we should link each and every rivers to each other, because there is a huge.
When humanity has not thought while making Suez Canal and Panama Canal, wherein not rivers, oceans were being linked to each other for the progress, of course, then why not going ahead with this?
So we have to see both cost as well as benefit. Means at the for small benefits, if we are having huge environmental cost, that is not a good policy. Sustainable development is the new
So
approach.
according to you, it should not be done.
It means few rivers can be interlinked, but for that, sir, proper environmental impact assessment needs to be done.
You play badminton,
Yes,
doubles or singles?
sir, singles.
Singles.
Means for the recreation purpose, means sometimes doubles also, but it is
Mainly
not,
singles.
uh,
Singles on the court, or
sir, sometimes court also, sometimes not.
what are the rule difference between doubles and singles?
Sir, first the court size. That means in singles we have a means length of the court is around 44 feet, but the side gets reduced by 1.5 feet from each side. But in doubles, the long means a long boundary line means it gets reduced in the length wise. It gets reduced by 1.5 feet on the each side, but sidelines get increased by the 1.5 feet.
For normal point or for the serving only?
Sir, for doubles, a normal point for normal also it gets increased by means 1.5 feet on the each side.
But in the service?
Sir, service also, sir, it is the same thing. Means
Service
service box gets changed.
gets changed
Yes.
for singles and doubles.
Yes.
In singles, we take sides or back.
In singles, sir, we take back.
And
Yes,
in
sir.
doubles,
We take side.
what is the technique? How the technique of playing badminton and tennis are different?
Sir, badminton requires more of flexibility, whereas tennis requires more of the stamina as well as strength. Here, so the in badminton, agility is the more means demanding criteria for playing, whereas in tennis, I think, sir, more stamina, more strength is required.
Why do you think that India has stopped producing single tennis players, especially in men category? We had only Mahesh Bhupati and Leander Pace, and after that we don't have a doubles team also that is so strong. Also, we don't have any single player like we winning Wimbledon and nothing like that is happening in India. Why is it so? But in the contrary, in women badminton, we are somehow coming up to the top rankings.
Sir, few reasons can be pointed out here. First is the role model factor. In badminton, we have always the role model starting from the Prakash Padukone, Pulela Gopichand, and thereafter current Sir Saina Nehwal and PV Sindhu. So we have the range of role model, and they developed the infrastructure. They also trained the future players. So this is one of the reason. And second, sir, as compared to badminton, tennis is more costly, more infrastructure demanding, and they can be played in a certain environment only. Whereas badminton can be played in the with fewer investment also. But definitely, professional badminton needs more infrastructure. But they can start in the normal infrastructure also. So these two reasons.
There's a very particular thing in your DAF that you come from Bihar and you have not opted Bihar cadre, neither for IAS nor for IPS. Is there any particular reason or averseness from the cadre of Bihar?
No, sir. Actually, I put it as a home cadre and I did not fill at a first preference. So I did not get chance to fill at any of the rank. Means at any of the priorities. So it gets 0 in that sense, sir. For filling UP, sir, it was the personal reasons. Actually, my family shifted to UP, and that is why I chose it as a first off.
You was an NSS volunteer.
Yes.
share some important work which you did over there as a social servant.
Sir, first was the means education in the neighboring school of IIT Kharagpur. We used to go and teach through some activity or through some means innovative way. We used to take and we used to teach children. And sir, second was the surveying that we did means from the as the part of the college team. We did survey, means health survey, education survey. These things, these data we gave to the college, and they used it further with the collaboration with the district department. And so third was the NSS camp that we did for 10 days. There was a whole camp, and we did some social activities in that. We also made means Kacha road in the forested regions, and there was Nukkad Natak for generating social awareness among the tribals. So these were the.
Have you heard the term conscription? Compulsory military service.
Yes.
So compulsory military service should be there in the country. Is India, does India need such provision?
Sir, for now, I don't think it is needed in India, but definitely, sir, in fundamental duties.
What is the reason behind it that you feel that it is not needed?
Because, sir, India has one of the largest military strength, and I think national security.
But so we have the largest youth also, and there happens to be a discipline which comes along with the service. So the youth will also get disciplined in a way. Don't you think it will be a most organized manner of educating the youth?
Sir, I think for that we have different programs and different things, like NCC is one of them.
But it is voluntarily, it is not compulsory.
Yes, sir. I think means doing anything compulsory, imposing on them is not good. I think changes should come from within. Indigenous is more, that is what required rather than exogenous.
Name some famous alumni of IIT Kharagpur. That will be my last question to you.
Sir, first is Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. Second is Sir Mr. D. Subbarao. Third is Sir Mr. Hari Sande.
Someone who must have settled in abroad.
Yes, sir. Sir, Mr. Sundar Pichai.
Do you think that this is a brain gain or a brain drain? What is your opinion?
In what respect?
People used to say whenever IITians used to go abroad and get settled there, it was called as brain drain.
Yes.
But now there's a debate going on that it is not a brain drain. It might have been in the shorter terms, but now it is a brain gain, as if that Indians are sitting at the pivotal post of all the multinational companies. So what is your opinion about it?
Sir, I think it is more brain drain rather than brain gain in that sense. Because, sir, it is very few companies which is headed by Indians. And they also are now American citizens. It is of their Indian origin. Like, sir, we have Dilip Singh also, but they are pursuing the USA interest, not Indian interest. So it is not directly, yes, there are benefits if we have the diaspora in foreign countries that helps in bringing investment and building good relations with other country. But sir, if they stay in the country, they build their own country, it would be means a direct advantage to the country. So I see it as a brain drain rather than brain.
Ajit, you play badminton, right?
Yes.
Name 3 national badminton player male India.
Sir, first is Mr. Lakshya Sen. Second, sir, Kadambi Shrikant. Third is sir Praneeth, HS Praneeth.
You are also an IITian. And there is a recent report which says that most of the dropouts in IIT they are from SC/ST community. Any specific reason?
Sir, first is that they might be lagging in this study, and if the college is not supporting them with extra classes or with extra lectures, then they feel deprived there, and that creates the feeling of inferior complexity, and that is why this can be one of the reasons for living. Definitely, sir, reservation alone will not work in any institution. Means it's the entering criteria where reservation is given. But we need to handhold them throughout their academic stay there for whole 4 years. There needs to be means extra classes, extra means attention to those who are lagging, and that is then only sir reservation would be successful.
And you have economics as an option, right?
Yes.
What do you think India should go for, a export oriented economy or a consumer driven economy?
Sir, currently India has 60% of GDP from the consumption only, and I think India has reached to the level of consumption where consumption cannot contribute more to the GDP. So we need to maneuver the option of export where India is lagging. Though India has crossed $417 billion merchandise export this year, but a lot of potential in this regard is there.
Any new government export promotion scheme that you are aware of?
Yes, sir. Production linked incentive programs that is creating opportunity for more exports.
And what areas we should target?
Sir, I think in comparative, if we go by comparative advantage theory, then labor intensive sector are the areas where India can.
That is for the employment. For export, I am asking. For export, which areas should we target?
Sir, for export also labor intensive sector, under that food processing industry, textile, leather, and agri exports are these are the area apart from the petroleum related exports.
And there is a recent debate regarding RBI, whether RBI should go for the growth factor or it should go for controlling the inflation. So what is your idea?
I think RBI needs to balance both the objective, because means only controlling inflation will not help country, and only pursuing growth also will not help country, because if inflation is very high, then real growth will reduce.
So how can RBI contribute towards growth? Inflation they can control through their interest rate. How can they contribute towards growth?
Sir, growth can also be contributed through expansionary monetary policy, which RBI has done for last 2 years. Despite of the inflation reaching the 6% upper limit of RBI mandate, but they are still pursuing with the accommodative stance, and that is helping the country to create more sentiments for the poor.
So they should balance both.
Yes.
Okay. And do you believe in dollar hegemony, that the global economic order is based on dollar hegemony?
Sir, currently it is, yes.
Do we need to curb it, and what are the alternatives if we need to curb it?
Sir, I think it needs to be curbed, because suppose today Russia is at the receiving end, tomorrow it could be India, tomorrow it could be any country. So there should be some international currency which is not belongs to any national currency of any country, and it should be IMF backed or some international institution backed currency, like SDR is one of them. And it should be replaced, or it should be means bundle of currency that should have a say for the international.
That is one option. Another alternatives.
Sir, another option is means bilateral means swap can be done. Means like we are mooting for rupee ruble swap. We have other with
both these options exist as on date today also.
Yes.
So then how are you saying that these are the alternatives that we can go for when dollar hegemony is there? These options exist, right? So then how can it can be used to curb the dollar hegemony?
Sir, one option can be digital currency. Now it's coming up. It could replace.
Since it does not exist today, right? Okay. And you see, recently India is in dispute with very many big tech companies, Facebook, Amazon, Twitter. So why we are so against these big tech companies?
Sir, first is the issue of data means colonization and data theft. That is one of the issues, and where India has its concern is because these data are being stored in the foreign servers where India don't have any control and they are used for various purposes. And so the second is the digital taxation.
The data is being stored for long in foreign servers.
Yes.
We already have all our data shared, which is there not in India, in US or in Silicon Valley. So how does this concern arises now? No.
So there have been concern from the it has been one of the concern, but now government is pursuing more for it for data colonization, and means in financial data RBI has brought up with data colonization policy and they are being followed. But for every sectors now government is trying to push e-commerce data and other data also.
Do we have that infrastructure ready where we can say, okay, we have server, we will store our data in our local place?
Sir, currently we don't have that much already made infrastructure, but with government and private sector coming together, that needs to be done because it is also for national security. Cyber crime is one of them.
Don't you think we should first create infrastructure and then ask, okay, we also have the similar sort of infrastructure and then we must store our data in our local places? If we say we want to store in our local place and we don't have infrastructure ready, how will we share or store data?
Yes, sir. Means government should come, but alone government could not create so much infrastructure. Private sector along with government needs to be participate or cooperate with each other to create those infrastructure in India.
And anything of that sort is going on? Are you aware if at all it is going on?
Sir, in the financial field, for RBI has come with data colonization policy. Under that, they have done something with the banks and foreign banks. For that, I don't have a detail, but in that regard, it has been done.
One last question: do India have a cybersecurity framework?
Sir, we have cyber security framework, means multiple cyber institutions are there, and we have cyber security policy also.
If there is a cyber criminal, then do we have that framework to deal with that criminal?
No, so law means special laws is not there for tackling with that.
So if there is a cyber crime, how will we tackle that crime?
Sir, there are provisions under IT Act 2000, which has been amended in 2006, if I'm not wrong, sir. It has been amended to include various provisions under cyber crimes to pursue it. And sir, apart from that,
No framework as well exists. Name 3-4 cyber crimes.
sir, first is ransomware. Second is sir, a denial of service. And third is sir, crypto jacking. Fourth is sir,
Spyware.
spyware.
Okay. It was in news for one of the software. Thank you.
You said you used to coach also, teach also subject, right?
Yes.
Which subject?
Subject, not sir. I worked in the coaching classes like content developer and
Which subject?
subjects are economics. I used to make on that. I also dealt with copy checking and other things.
Do you think good politics and good economics can go hand in hand?
Sir, it can go hand in hand. Sir, for example, promoting capital investment in the country. If we build roads, bridges, and other kind of infrastructure, means it will smooth the life of the people, and it will garner votes for the political party who has built that. And it is good economics also, sir, because it creates employment, it attracts public investment, private investment. So it is good economics also.
Giving freebies is good economics or good politics?
Sir, giving freebies is mostly a good politics, but I don't think it is good economics.
Make in India or make for India?
Sir, I think make in India is more relevant because if we make and we export also, then it is going to give more advantage to India.
Budget is mere horoscope or it is more than economic horoscope?
It is more than economic. Sir, because in budget it is not only the economics that is there, it is welfare also, which decides social indicators of the people. It also has education, inclusive growth. It also have the taxation policy which affects the normal people at the daily life. So it is more than economics.
Why good candidates are not opting IPS as a choice?
Sir, one is the this means area of work. I think with my limited knowledge, sir, IPS mostly deals with the security issues, whereas IS has a far richer, far wider domain in terms of diversity, and this is one factor I think most of the candidate opt for IS.
So what we should do to make police service more attractive?
Sir, it is attractive, but means not in the sense of IS, but yes, sir, we can.
I'm not talking only about IS, in general police service.
What we can do for. Sir, first is the role of technology needs to be increased. For that, because we have various dimension of security that is coming up, like we have the cyber security issues, we have the space security. So these can be integrated, and more technology can be integrated with the police service. Secondly, sir, professional autonomy of police that needs to be upheld. We have not been able to uphold that means professional autonomy of the police, and that is why means there is the issues of politicization of police.
So my question is how to attract good students in police service. We are talking about police reforms.
Yes. Sir, can you take some time?
Yeah.
Sir, one approach could be that because police works in a very means tough and complex environment, so burden can be reduced from the police person. So large number of recruitments in terms of increasing police personnel to population ratio. This will help in attracting people because they will have less burden, they will have social life also. Now it is police is heavily burdened, and people means this is one of the reason that people don't prefer it. Apart from that, sir, regular trainings which is multi-dimensional in terms of means engaging with the society, in terms of engaging with the foreign police and their training forensics. So all these things, foreign tools, this will make it more attractive for the persons to.
Do you think Dy.SP is having any role? Dy.SP is having any role presently?
Yes,
or should the post should be scrapped now?
No, sir, it is one of the key posts in the district as an SDPO in Bihar, subdivisional police officer. So it has immense role to coordinate between the superintendent of police and the SHOs of the thanas.
But he's not in charge of the thana.
Yes, sir. Means he's not the in charge, but under him 4 or 5 thanas comes.
Who decides the transfers of SHOs?
So it is the SP which has the power within the district.
Is it the Home Ministry?
If we have to appoint from one district to another, then sir, definitely it is the Home Ministry.
Within district?
Within district, sir, superintendent of police has the power.
Okay. Why there are so many IAS IPS officers from Bihar? Then why Bihar is backward?
Sir, Bihar is backward for a lot of reasons. First, starting from the post-independence era, the freight equalization policy was one where Bihar could not garner the comparative advantage. Then, sir, secondly, sir, law and order in the 90s and early 2000 was not good, and that deterred investment. Now, sir, law and order situation has improved, but there is a the poor perception is still being left, and that is again hampering the development of Bihar. Then in terms of social indicators, sir, there is lack of good health, educational facilities. Along with that, sir, poor urbanization rate that is not attracting talents in Bihar, or even holding the talents in Bihar, and these are the all reasons. Very good.
Then in that case, your first choice should be Bihar.
Yes, sir. For that reasons, definitely it should be Bihar. But sir, I am willing to serve everywhere in the country, and it is just that option has been given. I want to closer with the family because my family has shifted to Uttar Pradesh. That is why.
Tomorrow, if family shifted to US, then
Sir, if I would have the choice to have closer stay with the family, then I will opt it. If I don't have the option, I will no.
so between family and nation, family first.
No, sir, it is nation first.
Then Bihar should have been first choice.
Sir, I think in whole Bihar, even in Uttar Pradesh, there is lot of scope of development, and there also people are required, and for that reason, sir, I felt it.
Okay, one last question: environment or development? Only one.
Sir, I think environment in 21st century.
China has own economic model, it is said, and they have built their SEZs, they have built their export economy, and they prospered ultimately. Does India has such an economic model of its own?
Sir, starting from post-independence, India don't have the synchronized model or synchronized focus on one sector. India changed its policy, but now in 21st century, yes, sir, India has the model, and that is pushing growth and creating safety net for the world.
Pushing growth is normal. Every country has that particular idea. Every country pushes the growth.
Yes.
Is pushing growth is the economic model?
No, sir. It's the model like market-led. India is following what is called the Washington Consensus, and India is for the pro-market.
So that Washington Consensus is outside idea, is it? Is it India's model?
Sir, India has adopted it in its own ways, and that is also India is creating the safety net for the vulnerable while pushing the growth and through building infrastructure and through public investment.
So global value chain, have you heard about it?
Yes.
Shall India become part of them?
Yes, sir. India should become part of it.
So we should better enter FTA with the Britain and the European Union, or we should have better signed the RCEP, which would have an opportunity to us in the part of the GVA. What do you think?
Sir, it is not only that we have to look GVA and on that criteria we should decide whether we should join any FTA or not. There are lot of criteria for joining any FTA, and in case of RCEP, sir, India did not get the terms it wanted, and there was lot to lose there and rather than gain, and that is why India did not join RCEP. But when India is engaging bilaterally with UAE, with Australia, and now with UK, it is looking for the good terms and looking for its national interest, and that is why India is going for bilateral FTAs.
What you just said, the FTAs with the Western world will improve the income, while the RCEP would have improved the employment. What will go for?
Sir, I think I did not get the question. Sorry, sir.
The trade with the Western world, FTAs,
Yes.
will improve the income of some people.
Yes.
While the RCEP would have not increased the income, but would have improved on the employment opportunities for us. Now, what you will say? The better idea.
Sir, taking system, but I think, sir, both will create employment and growth also. It was RCEP also, it is bilateral FTA also, because if we are having a cheaper export, having a duty-free export, it will create the opportunity for Make in India, and that will create employment also. But considering these statements, sir, I will always prefer employment creation in India. If that policy is good, then I will go for it.
Is Atmanirbhar Bharat stopping of Make in India? End of Make in India?
No, sir. Atmanirbhar Bharat is in support of Make in India.
But then why didn't you change in policy first of all? If Weekend India is going on, what pressure आपने बोला?
India did not get means the success that government thought, and government tweaked its policy. Means Make in India is still there. Make in India is supported by Assemble in India, and now government is focusing on making self-reliant India, and that has the component of Make in India. Sir.
Okay, so is it a protectionist policy that we are going to follow now in the Atmanirbhar Bharat? Increasing import duties, giving protection to the Indian industries, isn't it?
No, sir. Atmanirbhar Bharat is not about protectionist policy. It is about, sir, creating the industrial base in India so that there is increase in competitiveness, efficiency, and that itself will reduce the import of the country, and that will increase export also. So it is like making India more stand on its own feet.
Can we call it a manufacture in India?
Sir, we are focusing for that manufacture in India.
So why not call directly manufacture in India? Why do Atmanirbhar Bharat?
Sir, because it's not only about manufacturing sector, sir, it encompasses various sectors. Means in agriculture also we are talking about, in service sector we are also talking about Atmanirbhar.
Okay, have you heard about Ajit Company?
I'm sorry, sir.
Okay. Have you heard about this one with the same kind of Bhagavati model of development?
Yes.
So which model you will prefer?
Sir, I admire both the model with certain characteristic, and sir, at the end conclusion of both model is same, sir, but it is the approach, a difference in approach. But in the current 21st century, sir, I think the Bhagavati model, where he talked about creating growth and then focusing on redistribution, is more relevant as compared to focusing first on redistribution, then focusing on growth.
Presently, we are following which one as a national policy?
Sir, Bhagavati model.
Bhagavati.
Yes.
Final question then. Do you support that we should legalize the cryptocurrencies?
Sir, yes, sir. In this budget, there is a provision of taxation, and that itself shows government is going towards legalizing it and regulating it. And government will have its own digital currency also. So yes, sir, because it's a new technology, we should legalize it but regulate it.
But how many 7,000 cryptocurrencies are there? How to regulate them? They're online and their servers are outside. How are you going to regulate them?
Definitely, sir. A regulation would be the complex task for the government, and sir, then is need to develop the framework. And sir, I'm not sure how it would be regulated, but definitely, sir, with discussion and deliberation, a new policy making can be done in this regard.
Ajit,
Yes.
during your interview, you mentioned about data, logistics.
Yes.
Have you heard of a term called ULIP in this context?
ULIP. Sorry, sir.
You have not heard? Okay. Doesn't matter. Thank you.